Hi, I'm Sikujin Sen, the Barefoot Doctor, and I'm going to be introducing to you today the wonderful topic about being spiritual. And I've had a lot of people who've asked me, and especially a lot of my students have asked me, what is the meaning of spirituality or being spiritual? And I'm going to try and explain very, very short and very, very simple the meaning and the way I understand it. So I'm going to share it with you right now so that hopefully you can understand that it's very simple. The first thing is spirituality is about seeking a meaningful connection with something higher or bigger than yourself. That's the question I've always been asking myself since I was a little boy, training in the martial arts and learning from ancient masters. And then there's also the other question is the one that I've asked myself is that ever since I've become more spiritual, I've noticed that my emotions and I seem to feel more happier and better and contented about me emotionally. And of course, it gives you a great feeling that when you are emotionally contented and happy and grateful, you are also feeling very, very comfortable in your body, in yourself, especially physically and mentally. Now, the other thing I've noticed that once emotionally you become, healthy, you don't only cultivate this great sense of energy and motivation, you continue to search for these simple questions, these meanings that we try to find for ourselves. And that is the ones that I keep on asking myself many, many times, especially when I go to sleep. I ask myself many times, why was I born? Who am I? What is the purpose of what I'm doing? And why am I doing all the things that I'm doing? And the other question I ask myself is what's my destiny? Why am I doing everything? And what's the purpose of doing everything to that destiny or that goal that I want to reach? And that's the questions that I ask. And if you look here on the board, the spiritual questions that I ask are always basically exploring the purpose of your life, which is what everyone does as far as I'm concerned. Some people say they don't do it or they're really not spiritually minded. But I believe everyone really is focusing on themselves, trying to understand who they are, trying to learn, what's their purpose, why are they alive, how can I be happy? And so these are the basic questions that I've put to myself, and I think a lot of people put to themselves. And the first one is that, am I a good person? Most people will say, yeah, I think I'm a good person. And then, of course, we all do bad things and we do things that, we show that we're not a good person. But anyway, the other questions I ask myself is that, what is the meaning of my suffering? Why am I suffering? Why do I have problems? And what's the reasons why I have problems? And then you start to realize that the reasons why you have problems is because you don't understand who you are. You don't understand the meaning of what you are, and that you are the creator or the cause of your suffering. Now, the other thing is I talk about is what is the connection with the world around me? Now, I learned that when I was a young boy and I started to travel around the world, and I learned that my connection to the world is larger than what we know. And once you start traveling and you start seeing different countries and you start meeting different people, different cultures and so forth, you start to realize that the world is really one beautiful connected place and that we're all connected to each other. So the next thing I usually find out is the things happens to me for a reason. Why do things happen to us? And I say to most people is that everything happens for a reason. You meet people for a reason. You meet people who you don't like for a reason. The other thing I usually say to people is, why does it happen to me? What's the reason for it? Is because you've got to learn a lesson. You have to learn a lesson because you're here to experience. You're here to experience good feelings, good emotions. You're here to experience bad feelings, bad emotions. We are energy beings. We are beings of energy. And because we have a body, we have to experience these emotional energies. And this is what awakens us to this purpose and spirituality. Now, the last thing I like to talk about is also, how can I live my life in the best possible way? And that's when you start to realize that we all have a purpose. And you might not know that until you finally get into the inner self of your energy and your understanding of why you're born, why you're here, and what is your purpose. So I tell everyone that you just have to understand a simple key, and that is learn to meditate, learn to go within yourself and to understand who you are and what's your purpose and why you're here. Now, I've also decided that the one best way that's possible to help yourself is to learn to give your knowledge of what you've learned and what you've experienced in your life, and then to basically share that experience with other people. And this is why I like this. I like Deepak Chopra's famous quote. And he said, religion is believing someone else's experience, whereas spirituality is having your own experience. So you don't need to believe in something else that happened thousands of years ago or whatever to make you feel good. You just need to learn, how can I experience more emotional gratitude, more emotional appreciation, more emotional feelings that actually show my appreciation for being alive, for helping people, for giving to people. And I found that the more I give, the more I teach, the more I help people, the more I feel better. And this is just a very quick, basic presentation to explain to you about what I call the three jewels. And I've been training and teaching a lot of people about the three jewels. And the three jewels are very simple: mind, body, and spirit. So I hope you like this very short presentation. I will have a lot more to talk about, and I don't mind if you send me whatever comments or information you'd like to talk about. I soon will have my website open, which will be the barefootdoctor.net, and I'll be talking about a lot of topics, and I'll be talking and demonstrating so that you can get to understand that you cannot learn anything unless you want to learn yourself. And the other thing is you cannot learn anything unless you do it. So, it's better to practice what you preach than to just talk about it. Okay? So I hope you enjoy that, and I'll be looking forward to hearing from you.